This is your daily market review for Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Interesting day. Looked like we had nailed some trades, especially certain levels holding. And then all of a sudden, the market flipped upside down. Tariffs look like they're coming, which again, we'll talk about that here more. But in general, talked about this week was probably going to be a choppy, sloppy week with an upside potential. I still think that now that potentially tariffs are getting priced in near term, you might see some action that coalesce with a little bit of upside because you have new money, new month. I wouldn't be surprised if, in the next 2 days you catch some bids. And does that mean the market really rips higher? It's hard to say now with some of the data that's being released and the tariffs, but I would assume again that new money, new month will step in at dips and at major levels like we've identified, and we're going to talk about them all. So again, going into the rest of the week, you have jobs numbers on Friday. I think there's going to be certain, certain asset classes that are stuck. I think certain ones are lagging, and then certain ones are going to lead. So we'll talk about it all. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. If you want to join the Discord room, links are below. If you want to get involved, chat, looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, you have questions about the markets, you want to get better at trading, use the Calendly link. Let's take 30 minutes to chat and see what you and I can come together with, and then move from there. Also, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it if you're following on Twitter. Also, too, if you were on StockTwits kicked me off today for some reason. I don't really know why. But if you get a moment, reply to this tweet or reach out to them. I would really appreciate it. I don't know why they kicked me off. I post what I always post for the last, what seems like a decade. And yeah, I like sharing there. I like being involved there. So if you are typically one of the folks who follows on StockTwits, do me a huge favor. Leave them a message, ask them why I was kicked off, or ask them to reinstate me. I really don't know why. I don't really have any arguments or beefs or anything on this platform. I just post my trades, and every once in a while say hello to people, or people say what they're going to say. So I appreciate it if you take 2 or 3 minutes to do it. Again, or email at stocktwitsupport.com, whatever. I don't know. You'll see it in the pictures. I appreciate it. I'm not a big fan of getting kicked off a platform for just posting what I've always posted. So like, subscribe, and notification bell. I appreciate it. Again, 52 education videos. Let me know I can help. It's all here. I appreciate you guys. Also, check out the website, tradingagent.com. Tons of resources, assets, and recommended reading. You name it. It is all there. And again, check out the Stock Traders Almanac. Pretty interesting stuff. Because again, once you start learning and understanding the market, just a recurring pattern, these are the 3 books you really need to know. How the operators work, how volume and price analysis affects the trade setups, and then the seasonality. People are like, is that easy? Can be. I mean, you can add a lot of complex layers within options and skew, and I don't know, get deeper into some of the Greeks, and it helps. But is it? Again, I'm one of those people. I like keep it simple, stupid. If that makes sense, because again, you can get bogged down in a lot of that stuff. And does it actually help? It's debatable. Some people have had success, some people don't. Again, it's how you interpret data. Ultimately, that is the key, right? How you act on it. So we know going into the next meeting right now, there's not expected rate cut, but it is kind of creeping up slowly over the last week. We'll see what happens here. Again, trade war, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be around for a while. We know GDP is going to slow. We know that, right? It's talked. It is what it is. Oil continues to pull back. I think, what was it? Down $1.90. Yeah. I mean, is this chart even refreshed? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 86, 82. Not surprised. Again, we've talked about global demand softening with softer, with a recession. Now, if you get World War III, or you get some sort of, I don't know. This is what I say always. Like, this is my biggest thing on oil. You don't chase the highs. You buy the dips, and then when things kind of peter out and safe look, and I don't know, safe. It's just when the market peaks with, instead of a sense of volatility, and you start seeing the asset class, like all assets get smoked down, I think oil and materials, as I talked about, will have the least downside. It's just I don't think we're there yet. Bitcoin. This is one of the things, we talked about. I know some people are like, oh, I'm going to short this, or I know people are going to buy it. And we said, okay, trade the levels. Here you go. This is why we draw this stuff. This is why you follow the channel. Look what we hit today. Perfect. 94,000. If you want to short it, now it makes sense. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know for anything for sure, but that whole crypto reserve headline didn't even include, barely included Bitcoin. And again, I'm not going to try to pick a winner or loser. Trade it like it is. Just trade it like it is. It still feels like you had a nice dead cat bounce. And there, you probably have to go back to the 70,000 level at some point. It's just, now watch what happens to 92, 93. If it gets over, again, invalidates the short thesis folks have had. Again, I personally don't have a position on it, and it means we could probably get right back up to 108. Just keep an eye on it. Again, it's pretty volatile, right? Natty gas seems to be holding up. Again, we'd like natural gas on dips over long term. Have zero doubt you're going to be fine with that. Dollar, look at this, hit the channel high, backed off today. Again, this thing is getting real squeezy. I don't really have a good tell on it other than I'm just watching for volatility. Just keep an eye on it. The more the dollar swings around, the more likely things are not very good. Stable dollar is good for a stable economy, right? TLT, gap down today, close at the high on the tariff trade war issues. Again, I'm watching how we act up here in the 92, 93. I think we kind of get stuck until the jobs number. That's just my guess. The VIX closed at the range highs. We'll see. But then you wicked right at the close. It was interesting. If you watch some of the market, you knew it got dumped. And then, again, they started selling volatility and buying stocks at the end of the day. We'll see how it follows up. Again, I still think short is the best trade long term, but you have to trade around your positions. Vivix starting to catch a bid. Keep an eye on it. We talked about this. Again, manage your positions. This is where it gets really interesting, right? SPY, look at today's action. You wicked below the gap fill, and you rally back at the close. Wide ass day. Look at that. 597 all the way down to 579. Near term, this is where, again, I think this is what's going to be difficult to say, is that it looks like it could break down, but I also wouldn't be surprised that, you get oversold, you get a retest, you will find some buyers, new money, new month, right? Like they're in there, they're waiting. Do they get worked out, or they get ran over essentially, meaning too much selling pressure? Or does the selling pressure abate, the news gets priced in near term, and people just kind of get comfortable taking some stabs here? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Again, I personally think the short is the long-term trade, but you have to hedge every once in a while and manage the position. I personally am hedged. If I get called out, it doesn't mean I can't short later. That's what I don't think people understand, is when you manage your positions and you get called on your options, it's okay. You'll get opportunities. So here you go, the QQQ, same kind of thing. I don't know why we wouldn't touch the 200-day at some point this week at this point, right? Not saying we can't do it tomorrow or Wednesday or whatever. I don't know. But that's interesting. And if we don't, near term, makes me think that, yeah, we can probably chop around. I've said this again. I personally think the highest we could go is probably right around here, around 520. Don't be surprised that here's the thing, right? If you traded around your positions today, you saw it hit the 100-day. Yeah, you could have taken some of the SQQ short off. You could have, the hedges off. You could have taken some hedges off on the Soxus when it got down around 21s and 22. Keep an eye on it. Again, manage your position. Shorting is a trading position, right? You can't stay short forever. The market doesn't always go down. It typically always goes up. IWM blew out the range lows, continues to lag. However, it did fill a gap down here. You can see it right in there. Keep an eye on this. Again, I'm not saying that you can't go lower. It just seems like, again, you've gotten a little oversold. Keep an eye on it. DIA, same kind of stuff, right? Keep an eye on it. 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 I really don't have a big monster position to talk about. DIA, I don't know. Gold got the rally back. We talked about it being overbought. We talked about the 2 times range. We talked about at some point, again, a year from now, I don't think you'll have a problem with it. Personally, I just don't trust it. Again, I don't trust it because, again, I don't think silver and the miners are really showing me that they got the pizzazz. And as gold, just like Bitcoin, if you believe Bitcoin is, digital gold, whatever, again, they will throw the baby out the bathwater at times when liquidations start in the market. Silver's not really showing me that it's got it. GDX, same kind of thing. Had some nice moves. Now I'm starting to pull back. We'll see what happens here. You would expect miners to be near new 52-week highs, not making lower highs. See that? Little suspect. Just worth an eye. Keep an eye on. AEM, talked about this one being the leader. Seems a little tired up here. Had a nice run from 78 up to $102. $102. AG, this has gone nowhere. Kind of kind of curious, right? Newmont, worth a watch. You know, we talked about this one. You know, if you could have bought this in the 30s, I would love somehow to see the gap fill at 30. That would be amazing. Pass. Same kind of thing. Chopping around. Not really much to say on it. Let's get into semiconductor. So it looks like Taiwan Semi is gonna get $100 billion infusion from the U.S. government to build chips. Now in the oversold position, this looks a little interesting to me. Now we didn't react real well, obviously, but I'd be watching the primary trend. I mean, the 170 area, I would expect to bounce near term. Keep an eye on it. Micron, this thing's been just the chop cycle, up down, up down, up down, up down. If you want to trade the range lows, go right ahead. AMD. People keep saying it's cheap at 90, or sorry, it's cheap at 120, it's cheap at 110, it's cheap at, it just keeps getting cheaper. I'm telling you guys, if you don't know the cycle on chips, they can get absolutely just blasted. Nobody knows. I mean, they don't even remember these cycles where they would go back to almost penny stock land. Now they obviously they had some splits and stuff, but chips become commodities. Be careful. I mean, the trend is definitely down. Doesn't mean it's going to be a straight line. So again, take the blinders off. Sorry, NVIDIA, this is one, again, we said the short of 2025, in my opinion. Interesting, it broke the primary trend today on decent volume. Worth an eye. And that's why I think, I've said semis are the best short in the market. People get mad when I say that. Keep an eye on this. Now, you might have to get down to this channel low. Again, and this is where it's so hard sometimes, is like, you're like, what's the exact price? I don't know. But maybe it's like that. I don't know. Maybe it's here at the 0.618, 107. You're not that far off. Again, I personally don't have any desire to go long the stock. I think this is the easiest short of the year. Now, again, that doesn't mean you just short randomly. No, you manage the position because it is still got a positive sentiment. And I think the positive sentiment is dying. Like traders are seeing that insiders are literally unloading as fast as they can in every way possible. And the only people buying is retail. Now, a $3 trillion company, does not deserve that type of valuation, in my opinion. Sorry. SMCI, another one that people feel like they have to trade. Close at the low of the day. I'm sorry, 50, 100 day now makes sense if it was going to bounce. Intellectual property, back under 23. Again, I think it's a trading range. I don't trust Intel at all. AVGO, we talked about this one, right? Big time turd, in my opinion. Now, I mean, if Apple's going to be trying to get rid of their chips, everyone else is going to be doing the same. And once Apple finally figures out that sauce, why wouldn't they license it potentially? Recoup some of their money. I don't know. It seems very obvious. SMH, again, we talked about this thing is the biggest, to me, the best risk reward is downside. It's just a chop top. Now we're taking out some range lows. Again, in the oversold position near term, just ten cuidado. Adobe, this is interesting because it held up pretty well today. Again, I don't really have a position on this. Apple, we talked about this bouncing, now chopping around. Again, if you can see this gap fill up here, ring the alarm. Call your grandmother. Text your dad. Send a prayer out and take a short on it. I think easy, tight stops. Amazon. Talked about this one getting a dead cat bounce. Man, look at it. Big range today. Again, I'd be watching here because it could be playing games for a base. That's what it looks like to me, potentially. Meta seems to be holding the 50-day. Again, you have trading references, right? Again, I think longer term, market goes lower. Nearer term, it's going to be tricky. CRM, as we talked about, this one being a double top. I don't know why you wouldn't just wait for the 200-day. It's literally right there. Guggenheim, this is another one that we talked about, like this gap down. And then once you broke 184, it had all the reason to come back down. There is a little gap around here in the 160s. It makes sense that you can buy this for a trade if you want to go long with a tight stop. I just personally would be looking for bounces to short, in my opinion, in tech. It just, maybe not so much Google as much as some other tech, aka chips. Yeah, Microsoft, this one we talked about, looks like dead money chopping around. Looks like the range lows. NDAQ, no one likes to hear this, but I'm telling you, I think the future is not going to be trading technology stocks. So this this exchange is going to be fudged. Keep an eye on it. MicroStrategy, look at this candle today. If you sold the open, congrats. Now I'd watch what happens when you get back down to the 240s. Keep an eye on it, all right? Because if Bitcoin gets cracked, this is going to get cracked even more. Just be patient. Netflix chopping around the highs, not much to say. Roblox, this one hit the 50, bouncing, or sorry, rejecting it. 20-day, I'd be watching. Now it's curling down. Looks like an easy short. Pan W, again, we like cybersecurity names, but I don't know why you wouldn't come back to the 200-day primary trend at some point. It didn't break out and go. Question mark, right? Tesla, nice bounce trade, but man, you got another test of the 200-day. Again, if you were watching, pay attention, you probably could have traded that and bought that at 278. Looking pretty solid. Again, I'm not saying this can't melt down, but it's a great trade opportunity, the risk reward, right? This thing has collapsed 100 points almost in 2 weeks. And then off the highs almost, what, 50%? There's a bounce coming. Nice, keep an eye on it. Take a stop if you need to find your risk. Keep an eye on this, right? Insight, I don't really have much to say. Again, I'd like to see this thing just get smoked down. HIMS, again, all the bulls that just perma bull is like, it feels like it's going to retest the old breakout here around the mid 30s. I don't know why you even mess with it until then. Palantir, this one seems to be holding up pretty well, right? Keep an eye on this 80 area. Decent little bounce. Again, if you traded these and you took 10 points, congrats. Baba, I mean, again, I don't trust Baba at all. I feel like this is a blow off top, and now you're going in either into a consolidation range or this thing's about to get cooked. Keep an eye on it. Good old coin. Watching this one again with the crypto stuff. Man, I don't know why you wouldn't test 195 at some point. Worth a watch. McDonald's hits the highs, backs off, chopping around. DKNG again. This one was oversold. Pops, makes a new low. Damn. Again, I don't have any faith in any of these but gambling names. Keep an eye on it. Airbnb, this one popped and then gave it all back. Costco has earnings this week. Keep an eye on this one because, again, I don't know. Starbucks talked about putting a short on today if you wanted to. It made sense. Again, it's just worth a watch. Again, me personally, this feels like it could get stuck even if the market holds up, and it's a great short, in my opinion. Risk reward, tight stops. FedEx, we talked about this one, just kind of bouncing around, chopping. Not much to say. Look at Caterpillar making lower lows. These are getting oversold-ish, right? Doesn't mean it can't go lower, though. But now you're getting in to the next support zones. Keep an eye on it. Again, these names should have some nice... Again, it was like, oh, tariffs. And like, yeah, I know. It'll slow things down, but these things will rally back at some point. Again, once it prices all in, potentially. And you can get a counter rally that, in my opinion, again, Deere holding up pretty well, but starting to make new lower highs. My point being is that these material names we talked about, we were waiting for the flush. That's what you're waiting for. I don't necessarily know how low they will go, but again, they all feel like they've had bases to work off of, right? X, I mean, just chopping around, going to get bought out at some point. Keep an eye on it. VALE, about in the 8s. Talked about this chopping around, pulling back. Arrow hit my alarm today. Oh, I'm sorry. Damn, I skipped it. Sorry, Arrow making new lows. Oh man. I mean, it's hard to buy it with the VIX at 22, and if you're expecting pullbacks and you see what's going on here. Not saying again that it's gonna absolutely get smoked down to the 8s. But this is the risk reward starting to make a lot of sense down here for a long-term buy and hold. CCJ, we talked about this thing was going to see a 40 handle. Got close enough. What, at 40? Yeah, 40.70. Watch how it holds here. If it doesn't, beware. CF, ag names, again, let them blast. Let them blast. Let them come on down. Let them come on down. Man, I put out an alert on this one too. I really think Mosaic is probably there. Doesn't mean it can't make new lows, but that volume, remember, market makers are absorbing down here. NTR gives it all back. This is why it's tough to trust this stuff, right? Like I said, left. Look at this puppy. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot AA. Again, I like aluminum a lot. A lot. Let it come down. I'm just telling you, like, trust. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Again, you haven't got a blow off in the market. XLF, look at today's action. It looked like a doji earlier, blow off. Held a 20-day, worth a watch here. Volume expanding. JP Morgan, again, I think this one is one of the easiest shorts. They're not buying back their own stock. Now what, near term, we talked about it bouncing in the 250s. 20-day, 8-day, 10-day, I don't know. To me, it just makes sense to short waiting for pops. Morgan Stanley. 100-day better hold for this guy. Bank of America. This one is another one. Got a nice bounce Friday this morning. Gap fill. Keep an eye on it. Goldman Sachs. This one's interesting, right? Because we talked about this kind of like riding the channel high, blow off top. Couldn't even really bounce. Like names that are making new lows today, you got to be careful with. Carry, chopping around. XBI. I mean, look at this thing. New lows. Yikes. Jets. We talked about this being like a chop top. New lows. Yikes. Watch out, right? XHB, housing. Yikes. Taking out the range lows. Yikes. Now, again, doesn't mean they can't trap and play games down at the low and bounce here if the market has new fund flow. But all I would say is just you don't trust it, right? Don't get too comfortable. Solar, right? New lows. Gosh, man, solar is just such dog shit. Look at that. Sedge, nice bounce, and then gives back 50% of it. More, I don't know. And ENPH, I mean, I think this thing's on its way to the rocket ship. To maybe some sort of lower price. You might be able to see this one go out of business, in my opinion. We'll see. For solar, this is interesting, right? We talked about this one. You can't really trust solar. Here you go. If oil prices pull back, yikes. Get out of the way. Oh, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Yeah. Oil, again, chopping its way down. It feels like UNG got a nice bounce, right? KLD, we talked about shorting this in the 80s, taking some profit. Now you need to probably take a little more, but here's the thing, right? It's decayed so much. I don't know if it can get back more than 30 or 40. Worth a watch, right? XOP makes sense down here, but I don't trust it. I don't trust it because, again, this is a big candle volume day. Is this the start of an absolute meltdown in materials that is the meltdown that ends meltdowns, meaning like the final capitulation move that we're hoping for? Remember, they can diverge from the market, right? We've seen that. We've seen like certain times when techs just went up and everything else went down, right? The Mag 7. You can see that. Keep an eye on it. ExxonMobil. Chopping around. CVE. Man, what a gift down here. This thing's getting stupid cheap. Keep an eye on it. Again, this is what feels like the last kapow. Valero, we talked about the gasoline names leading up and leading down. Oops, sorry. Let me zoom in. Seem to be chopping, but not confirming new highs. MPC, same kind of thing. BP, again, we like BP. Can't believe we're going to get potentially a retest of some sort. Watch this 30 area. Oh, my God. Brilliant Occidental. Look at this. Oh. Talked about this could be blow off bottomish, right? Man, if you get another low and it squeezes out and takes out another level of buyers, 40 handle. Again, Buffett ain't going to lose on this. EQT seems to be holding up pretty well. But be careful. It is up and near the highs. It has pulled, it's pulling back a little bit. Last but not least, I think reflects LNG. Again, I think we'll be natural gas exporters. However, keep an eye on this. I mean, global tensions can change. I don't know. 11% dividend yield. I like it. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. There's a lot of like what I would call minutia in the market that's going to make it sometimes a little tricky, right? Because you're trading around headlines. You're trading around risk. You're trading around World War freaking III, which, again, I don't know what's going to happen. And that's where, again, you have to trust your stops, your risk profile, your discipline. Just remember, when you get oversold, though, you should expect rallies at some point. But, again, if the market really is going into the dumper mode, which it could, after what I would think maybe later this week, if it is not all priced in and thing. Again, GDP is going to get negative. Like Atlanta GDP revised from 4.0% down to negative 2.8 in the last, I don't know how many weeks or months it was. So there's big things coming. Be careful out there. Let me know how I can help. Talk to you later. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.